afraid you're going to be talking.
There we go.
Oh, good morning, everyone. It has been a wonderful day. So many things already happening today. But, we have a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk about gratitude and some other little things. But plus, we have a free gift to promote at the end of the show that a friend of ours is giving away. So we really, really want you to stay to the end because this is going to be good and we can't wait to get to do it. So grab your drinks, coffee, tea, whatever it is, hot or cold. You name it, and come join us on our trip today down memory lane, down future lane. Who knows
Future
where
lane?
we're going to go? Which bunny trail? Which little rabbit hole we're going to fall into? Because we fall into a rabbit hole every week.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, every week. So I'm Carol Henderson, and I have Life by Design, and I want to help you to design your life to spiral up and get better and better with every moment, every day, every week, every year. Uh, it's possible. It doesn't matter what your age is, but especially if you're getting to the second half, you don't want to go out tired and old and sick and cranky. You want to live full out every day of your life with good energy and good heart. So anyway, I'm Carol Henderson, Life by Design, and this is my wonderful co-host, Miss Barbara Ellison.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, welcome to the show. I am personally, and I say this all the time, and you know what? I just really think it bears repeating for anybody that's new. Welcome to the show. Yeah. And so if you're hearing this for the first time, I'm so happy to meet you. Anyways, yeah, I'm Barbara Ellison. I'm a transformational life trainer, and I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. We always hear about, everybody is stressed, everybody is this, everybody is that. Well, you know what? I'm here to tell you that you don't have to live your life that way.
Not everybody is.
And not everybody is stressed and, going the wrong way.
Those that aren't kind of stand out from the crowd.
Exactly. And so as I said, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm because I truly believe that each and every one of us deserves to lead a happy, healthy, debt-free, and abundant life. However, we have to do our part. It says in the Bible that Jesus came that we might. I know it doesn't just happen, but it says in the Bible that Jesus came that we might have life and have it in abundance. Well, part of it is our job is to be grateful for the things that we have.
Yes.
The things that we get to do. And that is so important. And it's in everything. What are the small things that you're grateful for? And the big things. We tend to be grateful for the big things and forget about the little small things. So my tip, one of my tips
is the little foxes that spoil the vine.
Exactly.
It's little things that either make you or break you. There's a great book out called The Slight Edge, and he talks about little things done over time that are good will make you go up.
Right.
The things that are bad will make you go down. And another thing he talks about is what's easy to do is also easy to not do.
Yep. Right. And then sometimes, we all run into it. Like with me, I've been up since 4 o'clock. I've been up since 4 o'clock. So I've been up a few hours already. But I have to think about where am I going to go for the rest of the day? Now I can either say, oh, brother, I can't believe that I've already been up for so many hours oh yeah, how am I going to go forward? Well, or I can say, you know what? I'm feeling great.
Yes.
And I'm going to spend the rest of my day feeling great.
Yes.
And it's in any given moment, we have the choice.
Yes, exactly.
We have the choice.
Are very busy for both of us. We start out with calls and
Early.
stuff like that before we even get to this show. And then we
Exactly.
have classes and calls and stuff after.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Yeah.
Mondays are like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And
Monday tends to be a training day for us. I
yeah,
mean, we train and we are trained.
yes.
And so, and that's what happens. And so, but
And it
it
starts way
doesn't have to be
before the show
stressful.
starts. So that's where half of
Exactly.
our stuff comes from every Monday morning.
Yeah, we get trained and then we do other things. And so that's why it is so important to start your day off with a sense of gratitude.
Yes. And
And
if
if
you
for me
can't
it
think
starts
of
when I'm
it,
still lying in bed.
yeah. If you can't think of something that you're grateful for, I mean, sit there and think the sun came up.
Yeah,
You're breathing. If you're
you're
watching
breathing.
the show, you're breathing.
You're breathing on
If
your
you're
own.
watching this show, you can probably see, okay, you can probably hear.
Yeah,
So, if you ever think that you
have nothing to be
have it
grateful for.
horrible, go watch some of the videos of people in Africa that have to haul their own water, and that water comes out of a stream with cows doing what cows do upstream from where they're getting it. I mean, my son did a trip in South Sudan, Africa. Number one, it was so dangerous they had to fly straight in and they had to fly straight out. Their interpreter, his mother lived 12 miles away. They could not see each other.
Right.
It was that dangerous. He could not go 12 hours to see her. She could not go not 12 hours, 12 miles, 12 miles. Uh,
Yeah.
and she couldn't come see him because it was too dangerous and they would have been killed.
Yeah.
And the people gave their best and they would serve them food made with water out of the Nile.
Yeah.
Well, you think of the Nile and Pharaoh and the Ten Commandments. Well, the red water was clean for compared to what it is. It is
Yeah.
a very, very filthy river. But that's their water source. And they don't
Right.
have little Brita water purifiers to purify
Right.
the water. And and they had to bathe in the Nile. They ate water out of the Nile or drank water out of the Nile. They ate food cooked with water out of the Nile. That was how it was when they were in
Mhm.
South Sudan.
Yeah.
And we forget.
We have no concept of it.
Without bathing in the Nile, they had like a little pot of water that they could kind of sponge bath off. And that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I every time I get in the shower, it's thank you, Lord, for running water, for running hot
Yeah. And
water,
hot water.
and
Yeah.
running hot water.
Our
We have
water
no
heater broke a
concept.
couple of weeks ago, and we had to get the parts and figure out what it was and order them in. And so we didn't have hot water for a few days. Now, fortunately, we had another bathroom out in our barn, and we could walk out there to bathe. But and it's a fine bathroom. It has one of those cowboy tubs with the feet, and the
Mm.
picture of the cowboys laying back in the water with their
Yeah.
feet up on the end.
Mm.
That was me for a few days. And I thought,
Uh,
I'm going to keep coming out here to bathe once our hot water heater's fixed. Have I been back out there?
yeah. No,
But I mean,
because
but
it's
it's,
not convenient.
yeah, it's not convenient.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's walking across the driveway and it's a party barn. It's not like the cow or the chickens are there with me. Um,
Yeah.
but we are so stuck on convenience and we are so, I think about what it was like to, because I live on the prairie. Y'all know I live in the panhandle of Texas. And I look and I think about the wagons going across the prairie and through the canyon that the lake I live on is in, and how they got those wagons up and down those sharp cliffs.
Mhm.
And the fact that they didn't have a mirror, a woman, the only way she knows she's beautiful or not is if her husband told her or the boys told her. The only time you saw yourself was in a puddle when you bent down. You
Mhm.
didn't know if your hair was combed. You
Right.
didn't know, the other day I was on a show and my hair was kind of flat. And I was doing this through the whole show. And I'm like, I should have sprayed it a little harder or done
Yeah.
something. But, they didn't have a video to see what they looked like and compare
Mhm.
themselves among themselves. We
Right.
only have one standard, and that's Jesus. And
Yeah.
he thinks we're all beautiful because he looks at the heart. Now,
Right.
you may have an ugly heart. If you have an ugly heart, we need to talk,
Yeah.
because that's ugly to other people. It's ugly to him. It's ugly to you if you really think
Think
about it.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing too is that so often we have become such an instant society that we want everything
Well,
this way.
microwave.
Right. And you know what? Carol was getting on me. I'm gonna tell.
Oh,
Carol was getting on me quite a bit
did I beat you
because
with a wet noodle?
she would beat me with a wet noodle through the Zoom. Through Zoom. Barbara, microwaves are so bad for you. And she just, oh, what going on many times. Well, you shouldn't be using a microwave. It's bad for you. Da, da, da.
But
Well,
it
guess what?
changes the molecular
It
makeup of
changes the
food,
molecular. Okay, so,
and
you
therefore it's
know,
not healthy for you to drink. But
but you
since
know
it's
what?
microwave society.
The only reason I still have my microwave in my room, I have not used it. I'm going to tear. I have not used it in months.
Good.
Months and months and months. I have not
She's
used my
finally
microwave.
listening to me.
Exactly. The only reason it's still there, it's because it's got a perfect little timer that is like perfect little clock that's right there that I can see it. And I don't have to put my glasses on to see it. Other than that, I have not used it, and I have my plants on it.
So her alarm clock is this big.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And I have it set for 7 minutes ahead of what time it actually is. So when it hits, like if I have to be somewhere at 7 o'clock that's close by, when my microwave hits 7 o'clock, I have to be out the door, because then that gives me like 7 minutes to get there.
I used to do that with my watch. I kept it 10 minutes early to make sure that I was on time.
To make sure you're on time. But the thing is though, we are such an instant society that we don't want to wait to put water like they did back in the olden days, back before electricity and before pumped water.
Oh,
They had to haul the water. I'm gonna tell. My grandmother, one day I happened to just, it was a complaint. It really was. But my grandmother was born in 1887. And one day I happened to say something about having to go and iron a blouse. And I was complaining. And she looked at me and she said, "How dare you complain?" She then proceeded to give me a 20-minute lecture on that I did not know what ironing was. She said, okay, I'm Canadian, grew up, snow, winter, 40 below. When you have to go outside and shovel a path to the well, break the ice off of the well, haul the water, stoke the stove, make the starch, all of those things.
I can remember my mother cooking starch. Yeah.
You had she made her own starch, she made her own soap, she everything. And her final comment to me was, and you have the nerve to have to complain about having to go upstairs and flip a switch?
Yeah.
We have the nerve to complain about
Now,
not having something that I have to wait 2 minutes.
yes. Well, and it's like when, Barbara's been to my house, and my barn is nice. When
Yeah,
it's really decked out, it is really nice. We don't use it enough to keep it decked all the time, and stuff, so it gets dusty. But we have a wood burning cook stove.
yeah,
And I want to tell you, that thing can cook the best food. And they say it takes 50 to 60 years to get really adept at it. But my husband is, and he was almost from the beginning, but he's very attentive to it. But the food cooked in there is like none
yes.
other. But I want to
Mm-hmm.
tell you, you have to build the fire, you have to
Right.
tend the fire, you have to get it to the right temperature,
Temperature.
and then you have to make sure that it stays at the right
Yeah,
temperature.
right.
If you have a fireplace, you throw the wood in, you light it, and it gets really hot, and it goes
Yeah,
down. And then you put some more logs on it, it gets really hot, and then it goes down.
right,
And that's the same thing with the wood cook stove.
right.
But it is, I I love to get to go cook on that
Yeah.
in the winter. And we haven't the last few years, but I think we may do
Yeah.
that this
Well,
year.
it's like my grandmother, she said she had to heat 7 irons because has it started to cool, you take the next one. Has it
Mhm,
started to cool, you take the next one. And you're rotating.
mhm. I
I
have one
was
of
like,
those irons on my wood cook stove. I have a,
right.
they're called
But it's a
staff irons.
decoration. It's not something that you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
use.
yeah. It's
Now I
called a
won't buy
staff
anything
iron.
that's not permanent press.
I know, I
And
know.
I just throw it in the dryer with a wet towel to fluff it up and take the wrinkles out. Oh,
Yeah.
brother.
And we've got it rough. We've
And
got
we
it
have
rough.
it, Russ. And we're complaining about having to do things. Okay, people.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, don't be so impatient.
Yes. Well, and the sad thing is that even the older people now don't remember what what her grandmother remembers or
Yeah.
what, you know,
Oh,
yeah, it's kind of gone. And yeah, talking about the prairie to a guy
oh,
yesterday
yeah.
and stuff living out on the prairie. And when I met my husband, he was telling me they lived out 45 miles west of Hereford, Texas, on the edge of the canyon, the edge of the Bridwell Ranch. Well, they had to they had a well, but they had to pump, and their bathtub was a tank in the
Right.
kitchen that they
Right.
did. Yeah, that was how they bathed.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like
they
you
all shared the same water.
in the I was like, I looked at him, I said, don't even go there. My mother did not live like that and everything. And so I went to his mother. I said, do you know what Keith told me? She goes, we did.
Yeah.
That's what we had to do. The
Yeah.
church he went to this day has no running water. It's a little church out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was so remote. One week a Baptist preacher came through, and the next week a Presbyterian minister came through.
Right.
They had a potbelly stove in the middle of the thing.
Right.
And he said it was horrible because at the beginning of the service, everybody be real close. And then as it went, they'd scoot way far out. But the really bad things, little kids that would wet their pants. And back then there was cloth diapers and stuff, but they would take and hang the pants on the fire
Right.
around the edge
Right.
to dry them so the kids could go home.
Yeah.
And you know what the church smelled like by the
Like that. Yeah, exactly. We have no
Yeah,
concept.
they have a kitchen, they have a stove. We've done every other year we go out there for a church reunion and everybody brings their dishes. It had outhouses when I first married him. They've since been gone, but because snakes like to hide in outhouses.
Yes.
And but anyway, they bring in a porta potty. But it's like, how do you wash your hands? How do
Right.
you wash your, it's like I took, every time I go, I take flats of water bottles because
Right.
I like to
Exactly.
wash my hands. And yeah, it's like,
Right.
no.
And and we have no concept of it. And so that's why once in a while I love going down and tell that story of my grandmother because it puts me into, oh, my stars, Barbara,
Yeah,
just get it together. I
yeah,
mean, and like for me, this is amazing. Carol's in Texas. I live near Chicago, and here we are talking together, and we get to talk to each other every day.
yeah, yeah.
Back in the day,
Usually
when
face
you
to
left
face.
home, you literally left home
Oh yeah. Well, I
because and you
talked
didn't
about
go back.
the
Very
old
seldom did you go
West.
back.
The kids moved and went out west.
West
Moms never saw them
saw
again
their children again.
99% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, my daughter-in-law and we drove out to Bozeman, Montana from Chicago. Beautiful trip. Beautiful trip. Stopped in Mount Rushmore, the whole 9 yards. But as we were literally driving across South Dakota, we were like, oh, this is really pretty. Well, then after 100 miles or so, it was like, ooh, yike, this is really hot. This is really boring. This is like, and then of course it hit me that people back in the day, they walked across it
Yeah. 20 miles a day at the most.
most. And then they had to rest every couple of days. They had to rest for a couple of days. They would do a 20-mile day and then they had to rest for a couple of days because they had to rest the oxen. because otherwise they would lose the oxen.
After they walked all that time, the women had to build a fire, stoke the fire, stick a pot on. Now sometimes they had like a pot that had soup in it, or the cattle drives. They had Cookie that had the little stove, and
Chuck
he had to
wagon.
get up in the morning and do the coffee. He had to cook breakfast.
Mhm.
He had to cook supper. I think they skipped lunch just because of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a rough life. And yeah.
And we take our life for granted. So that's kind of how we started, was be grateful for where you are right now.
Yes.
Be grateful for the little things, the little conveniences, the little things that we just never even think about. The fact that I can get a phone call on my watch. I mean, how bad is this?
Yeah.
Well,
and realize people in other countries or other cities are different. My comment about my mom wasn't raised, that was true, but she was raised in Houston.
Right.
She was raised in a metropolis where Keith was out on the prairie.
Out on the prairie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a friend of mine, her parents were brought up in the hills of Tennessee. I remember one day, and this wasn't, well, it was maybe 20 some odd years ago. I remember we were talking about it, and she said, "Oh yeah," she says, my grandmother, who still lived there at the time, who she's now since passed away, but she said, "Oh yeah, she only got running water 5 years ago."
Yeah.
Like, you're kidding, because running water does not go up a mountain.
Yeah.
It comes down a mountain, but they weren't where there was a river coming down the mountain.
Yeah.
So they did not have running water. And when they did get running water, they only had cold water.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge thing when they got running cold water.
Yeah.
Oh, yike.
Yeah. We forget how quick we forget. But it's just like looking at a mirror every morning when we're getting ready.
Yeah.
But it's also, we compare ourselves among ourselves. And that's not, we are not our standard.
Yeah.
We are not our standard. So don't think yourself above or below anyone else.
Yeah.
Be gracious, be grateful, be loving and kind. And know that life is getting better every day.
Every day.
Look forward.
And we get to choose.
Yes. Yes, you get to choose.
Yeah.
Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Choose life.
Be grateful.
Yeah. But before we go, we have to go.
Yes.
We have a friend that is doing a class.
A free master class.
A free master class. It's 4 days. She is amazing. We actually, that we tape our Thoughtful Thursdays and our Aging Expert shows. We just taped her for this Thoughtful Thursday. And she's offering this as a free gift to all of our listeners. But her name is Tosh Blum, and she is great at what she teaches. So we're going to give you the address. Are we going to give the address?
Absolutely. It's toshblum.com/links. Okay. And her challenge is going to TASH Blum BLUM.com. It'll be in the show notes. But /links. And it's going to start on September 11th.
Yes. Yes. So that's why we want to plug it now. That's why we're having her on Thursday. Yeah. And so you'll get to meet her, but go get registered for her class.
Get registered. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and it's a freebie.
Yeah.
It's a freebie that you get to manifest. If you're looking for manifesting something in your life, this is going to be a great thing for you to do. So anyways, so that's it.
Yeah.
Have an awesome day.
If you're watching us on Facebook, please click like and share. Tell your friends about us, because we really do want to reach the world with just a
positivity and gratitude.
Circling up.
Just circle up.
If you're watching on YouTube, though, please subscribe. Do a thumbs up, because that helps the algorithms to let them show us to more people. Ring the bell so you know when we have a show coming out, and tell your friends.
Yeah.
So share it out.
Yep.
So
So
bye.
everybody have a good one. Bye-bye.